To India Joy Virtual Summit 2021, day 2, which is going to start at 2 p.m. and it will go on till 8 p.m. today. We have wonderful sessions today. Apart from this keynote, we have a lot of sessions in 3 different tracks: business track, technology track, art and creativity track. We have a lot of VFX production managers. We have filmmakers, we have animation directors, and we have CEOs of these companies also joining in different panel sessions. We have Mr. Dev Pinn here to give the keynote session for us today. And a little bit about him is, so he is an international filmmaker, is based out of Los Angeles, LA. His film, I'm Gonna Tell God Everything, won many, many international awards and screenings, including IFFI Goa. He's currently exploring virtual production technology for one of his film projects. He's currently in India. He's taken a couple of wonderful sessions yesterday in the VFX Summit 2021 virtual platform. And over to you, Mr. Dev. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be a keynote speaker, and it's been wonderful to have you on this platform. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shilpa. Yeah, hi guys. So I'm not a techie. I'm a filmmaker. So Shilpa has introduced me. So I went to Hollywood in search of my dream to tell world-class stories. So I'm a full-time filmmaker based out of Los Angeles, and my recent project, I'm Gonna Tell God Everything. Actually, I got an inspiration with a news clip when a boy, a 4-year-old, his last words are, I'm gonna tell God everything. So I understood the brutality of what's happening in Syria. The 8 years of the war is told in one sentence, I want to make a film. It is like a wildest dream because we cannot shoot in Syria, and there's a lot of the war is going on. I want to tell that story. So somehow, because I'm in Los Angeles, some of the area is a desert in LA, so we have some Middle Eastern sets. So I'm able to pull it off, and it got a recognition. It is very authentic, and it got recognition. So I'm like one of the filmmakers who always dream big, actually. See, I'm in this VFX Summit, for me, for my definition of VFX is a tool which will make us to dream. So that's a simple definition I have for the technology, actually. Any technology, the ultimate, all the technologies which are helping people in filmmaking, the ultimate goal is to tell a story. When you come to the concept of story, everything, the filmmaking starts with a story. In every story, there is something called world building. So that is the point where the story is distinguished from Avatar to some other film. So the most important and effective thing we need to focus is on building the world. Then comes the technology. So, the film industry is from last 100 years, and a lot of stories are told and again told. So a lot of permutations and combinations are done, actually. From where do the new stories come? New stories come from the new worlds. So when somebody wants to tell a new story, so with a new world, then it creates an excitement. It may be, very like famous film like Avatar or Bahubali. So it's the problem of a filmmaker, actually. For example, in a country like India, in Hollywood, we have the big budgets and they can dream anything. Okay, but in India, we have limitations, so not everyone has the privilege to dream big. So I have a dream. I want to make a film on 900 AD about the World War and the symbol, and so I have a very big dream, actually. So during the COVID time, I am supposed to direct some other film based out of Kamala Devi, based on Kamala Devi Harris, and because of the COVID, and I'm not able to finish that. So in this meantime, I got an opportunity to think deep into what is the future of filmmakers. Okay, now people are not ready to travel. So how do I get? Previously, I'm an action junkie. I always want to take people to Los Angeles and shoot films in different locations. So after COVID, so I started thinking in a different perspective. How should I make films? With these conditions, and how to create. So I came across something called virtual production technology. So I understood, like I started exploring, and so initially in LA the situation is very advanced right now. There are some studios in Los Angeles right now. So you can go, if you go there, they will give you a menu card kind of thing. So there will be flight set, virtual, real. If you want a real set, there is a real set. If you want a virtual set, virtual. Go sit and they'll shoot and give you the footage. So it's already in the business model. The situation in India is not like that actually. So we started exploring. So we need to, there are a lot of different, so let us let me now from storytelling to, I'm just how we leverage. I leveraged my dream. I shot a demo actually. I want to show you. I shot a demo of my film to convince, to make myself understand what are the numbers, what are the constraints, and also to convince the actors and also the investors, so what they're seeing actually. So first of all I will show you that, and then I will jump into the how we did and how all this happened, and what are all the problems I faced, and what are the risks and takeaways from this one. It is just a demo, few parts. It's like a mix and match of different types of virtual production, and a Silpa can.
పురాతనమైన ఈ నగరాన్ని ఇప్పటి వరకు ఏ విదేశీ శక్తి జయించలేకపోయింది. ఆ విజయ రహస్యం ఈ నగరం పవిత్రమైన స్వస్తికాకారంలో నిర్మింపబడటం. గమనించారు? ఈ గుర్తు మన స్వస్తికకు వ్యతిరేక దిశలో స్వస్థగిరి రాజ్యాన్ని మొట్టమొదటిసారి జయించింది నేను. ఇది అసలైన స్వస్తికి. ఇవన్నీ కాకతాళీయంగా జరిగిన సంఘటనలు. కొన్ని వందల సంవత్సరాల క్రితం మొదలైన ఒక యుద్ధం. అప్పుడు ఆగిపోయిందనుకున్న యుద్ధం 1000 సంవత్సరాల తరువాత మళ్లీ మొదలయ్యింది.
This is the most powerful symbol in the world.
స్వస్థగిరి వాసులు మన మీదకి దండెత్తి వస్తున్నారు. ఈ దునియాని జయించిన వాడు వీళ్ళేం చేయగలరు? ఒక్కొక్కసారి శాంతిని ప్రతిష్టాపన చేయడానికి కూడా కత్తి పట్టాల్సి ఉంటుంది. ఇది ఒక పవిత్ర యుద్ధం. ధర్మానికి వ్యతిరేకంగా వెళ్ళినవాడు
Yeah. This one. This is the LED wall. Okay, you see that it's not real. It's like an LED wall. So the technology will help us to place the characters into that. Okay. See this. This is a different kind of LED. This is 2.9. So the pitch is, as the pitch is very less, like you get better quality. This is shot from 2 feet. It's almost like a rock. So that's the beginning of virtual production. If you see something and you think that is real, that's the beginning of virtual production actually. So, okay, so the LED wall is only 2D, right? But the world is 3D. How we are going to enter into that? So there comes the technology actually. It's not just like projecting something before the LED wall. You see the characters going into the setup, right? So For going into that, like there are some other ingredients, like because the set is built in Unreal Engine, there is a camera inside, and we have something called camera tracking solution, which okay. So this is how we track the cameras and. See, the project is again is a story. Actually, it's about a conspiracy theory about the symbol. Actually, so Hitler's symbol, right? That is again swastika, and it's a holy symbol in India actually. Okay, so but it is used in a very improper way, and there is a lot of conspiracy behind it. And someone like from India, who is called the guru of Hitler, helped him, and so she made Hitler to use that symbol because it's very powerful. And there are a lot of Indian gypsies, 3 lakhs Indian gypsies are killed in the concentration camps because they're using the symbol. So it's a very, very intriguing and story which has to be told as an Indian filmmaker. So that's one of the eras in the history which is completely erased and nobody know about it. So actually, it was my dream. From when I initially went to LA, this was my dream. I want to make it an international film. So I thought of making it later, but because of this virtual production technology and the situations, the Indian situation right now, because most of the films are going to pan India and pan world. So I thought this will be a great opportunity. I want to leverage. That's why the heading of the session is leveraging technology to make your storytelling happen. Actually. So that's how we started. Okay, so let me now you understood. So now I generated some curiosity, right? Now, Silpa, I showed you something and I said that I use virtual production technology and Unreal Engine mostly. Actually, we use Unreal Engine to the full, and virtual production we use partial and bits and parts. So because it's still in the evaluation process, now we know what to use and what to make. So let me jump into this virtual production technology and tell about the origins and I will just explain the life cycle what we follow. So the origin of real-time revolution. Actually, this is called real-time revolution. So in 2009, George Lucas, James Cameron, and Spielberg, and most initially embraced the virtual production enhanced by the real-time rendering. Actually, real-time rendering is a thing which is very interesting. Real-time rendering in the sense on the set. For example, most of the films use green mat work, right? On the green mat, so you'll be it will be blank. You don't see anything, and the actors will be standing before that, and there will be some markings, and they shoot, right? So the output will be known only during the post-production. The director cannot see anything. The cinematographer cannot see anything. Even the editor at the initial stages cannot see anything. So everything will be known at the stage of post-production. Actually, so this this is a little disconnected kind of environment. So there is every filmmaker. Actually, mostly I'm telling about directors. Actually, they always dream to have something having live compositing. Okay, the meaning of live compositing is we can see the output on the monitor, actually on the set itself. What you see, what you get. So when we shoot, I will show you the monitor, how the monitor of a virtual production monitor will be share the personal phone will be there. So all the images at one time, and then I can go for discussion. Okay. Okay. So I will show you the word what is meant by live compositing. Hold on. Okay. So live compositing in the sense whatever we see, for example, while they're shooting on a big set which is built in Unreal Engine. Okay, but we will be when we shoot, we'll be shooting against the green mat, right? So, but in the virtual production, even though if you use LED wall, the whole set will be projected on the LED wall. Even if you use a green mat also, there is second kind of virtual production. It's like partial virtual production where the green mat is there even though we shoot against the green mat, in the monitor, in the director's monitor, we see the live compositing. There will be something instant compositing happening behind the screens, where the actor will be seen in the monitor in that world actually. Okay, so see this one. Okay, so there are some issues. Actually, it's not a perfectly composited, but this is how the director's monitors look. We shot against some pieces. We shot against the green screen, but virtual production with a tracker. That's one of the most important advantage of the transparency. We'll know what we are getting actually. And so a lot of time will be wasted for tracking, and also the director will know, the DOP will know what we are going to shoot and what we are shooting. And even the actors, from the perspective of actors actually, so actors will always are emotional beings actually. They will be emote. For example, if you say that you are inside a real snow world and we are making them stand before a green mat wall, some people may not get emoted, but if you have an LED wall or something which has a projection, it will be like a real world actually of okay. So this is how the monitor looks actually. Even though we are shooting on a green mat virtual production, we can see in the monitor whatever we see in the monitor, we'll get in the output actually. Apart from origins of this real-time revolution, in 2009 a committee is formed on virtual production, and they started working on it, and so they gave some definitions of virtual production. See, one of the definitions of the virtual production says that the definition with more technical detail. Virtual production combines both virtual and augmented reality and the CGI game engine technologies to enable production crews to see their scenes unfold as they are composed and captured on the set. Virtual production. So means see that in the definition itself, you see virtual production combines the augmented reality and CGI engine technologies and enables the crews to see the main outcome of virtual production is to see their scenes unfold as they are composed and captured on the set. See, one more way we can say virtual production is where the physical and the digital worlds meet, because you have seen the world, right? So the LED wall, the fort is there, and so that's the virtual world actually. The real world is the actor standing before the set, and a little bit of art direction we have made. That's all the real world. And in the back there is virtual world, that is the LED wall actually. Okay, both of them combined, so it will be real-time compositing. So this is where the real and the physical and the digital worlds meet actually. Okay, and also you can say that virtual production is also a parallel processing. It removes the barriers between production and visual effects. The visual effects and the production happens in different places actually. During the production, there will be some set of people, and by doing the virtual visual effects, there will be some set of people. Sometimes there may be little bit of disconnect. Okay, now this will be a parallel processing actually. It removes the barriers between the live production and the visual effects, and they can occur simultaneously instead of inline. Okay, this is one of the definitions of virtual production. So the most important, I always tell is what you see, what you get. So it's not like dreaming something and getting something else after 1 year or 6 months of post production. In software engineering, there's something called agile. Agile is a process where we see there will be intermediate outputs. Generally, most of the projects, even it's a film project or any project, they follow waterfall model. Waterfall model is there will be design, development, so a lot of stages will be there, and at the end we'll know after 1 year or 6 months we'll know what you got. Okay, so the process called agile is something where we see the intermediate outputs on regular basis actually. So virtual production brings some very interesting process control to the film production, because it enforces you to get everything ready in the pre-production itself. Because I want to shoot. I have a dream, like, I want to show what happened in 980 at a town called Swastagiri. Okay. If I am like, if without virtual production, how I does is I will be having some paintings and, also what is called sketches, and I will visualize something and will go to, most of the people go to production before building the sets. Once they shoot the green mat, then like modeling will start and everything. So I don't know where I am shooting actually. So in this actually, if I want to shoot a project, right? So this is just a demo. Actually, I shot only for 10 hours actually. So, but as a part of my preparation, I already built 2 huge sets where 35% of my film will happen there. Just because it enforces, even for shooting one shot, I have to build 100 acres of virtual space and 200 feet height town structure, and if you observe the town structure, there is one very beautiful in the first shot. If, for example, if I'm taking it in live action, that most of the filmmakers, they don't effort to build the whole set. Okay. So in this, like, there is single shot where, like, I show you the temple and the camera is moving, and it moves to the top and you see the whole thing like a swastika. That is an impossible feat to achieve in live action actually, because there is no scope to cheat. So the only way is to build the whole set properly, and then only we can achieve that. But I achieve just for the demo, even for a demo, I'm able to achieve it. Just like if you ask any, like, big filmmakers, like, so it's a wonderful achievement, like, from the technology perspective. So even so, because in Unreal Engine, like, one very this virtual production Unreal Engine stuff, there is very interesting concept called the real-time physics. You have flexible to move the camera in whatever way you have, in whatever way you dream. So that is one tremendous advantage of, like, using the Unreal Engine and the virtual production set. Okay, so let us now discuss the limitations of shooting in real time, and generally what are the problems, like, because what's happening right now is, see, for simple projects it's very easy, like, filmmaking regularly is very easy. But when people have big dreams, now, like, most of the projects are pan India, and they have big dreams and big setups and few hundred people working on that, and a big project and big budgets are involved, big stars are involved. So we have some issues, like, so there are some bottlenecks, like, in the regular filmmaking process, conventional filmmaking process, which can be addressed in the virtual production. Okay, every hour of pre-production worth 2 hours of production actually. So that's true for everyone. But when you use virtual production, the pre-production is everything. Okay, you'll be building the sets, and you'll be building interactive sets. The meaning of interactive set is whatever we build in the 100 acres, the Swastagiri is an interactive set. The meaning of that is I can navigate into any area of the set inside it. I can shoot in any block seamlessly, and I can move the camera seamlessly. So that's called the interactive set. Virtual production is like making films using the agile method. We already discussed. Okay, so that filmmaking is an ever-evolving and technological pursuit. We need to compare, like, from silent films to Avatar. A lot of things are clearly, like, it's like we see a lot of progression happening. So for sure, virtual production technology is going to be the next big game changer in the field of filmmaking actually. Okay, it's like the next logical step in the ongoing process. So now, what virtual production is going to offer to us? Okay, so now some of the technical problems what we see in the normal life cycle of film production is, cinematographer has to take best guess of the color they're lighting to which an unseen green screen element. A director doesn't exactly know what the creature of the climax of his movie actually looks like. Finalizing occurs only at the post-production. When major interactive changes are best and highly costly, at worst impossible due to release deadlines. Actually, we cannot like do anything. So there will be a lot of delivery brothers, and we cannot do any changes at the last minute. It's too late at the post production actually. So there will be little bit of creative compromises because of all these disconnected elements and lack of transparency, and we don't see what we are shooting, and so this is the whole project management life cycle we will little disturb. So how the virtual production is addressing it is actually, first of all, it enforces a proper process actually, because you need to do, even for the 3 minute of shoot, I shot only for, I got a 3 minute output. Do you know how much process I have to follow? I did a storyboarding. Okay, then they asked this something called tech quiz. About previous, there is something called tech quiz. Tech quiz is following the physics. So how the camera is moving and where the LED was. So they will do like some sort of tech quiz, previous and tech quiz, and and we have to choose a proper LED panels, and when we have to choose a DOP who understands, and also do you know one thing? The DOP has to sit in the on the digital sets, and because there is something called lighting. So once the sets are built, the DOP will we did a lot of pre-production in the studio. We did a lot of shot making in the studio itself. Only when characters are there, we went to the studio. So the DOP and myself, we used to sit in the studio before the computer and do shot making. That's the first shot. That aerial shot, the camera panning, that we made in the studio actually. There is no actors in that. So that's that enforces the DOP and the cinema, and there's a lot of interaction even before the shoot, and there is a lot of preparation, and and also because of what we see, what we get, and the camera inline inside camera movements made us address most of the problems which we discussed recently. Okay, so the key features and benefits what virtual production is promising is asset creation. See, I have a little exposure to software before coming into filmmaking. There is something called Visual Studio.net actually. See, when I see Unreal Engine, it reminds me Visual Studio.net. It's like a centralized a studio engine where we can. It's like we have a marketplace that it's like we need not reinvent the wheel again. Somebody will be making some beautiful rocks or stones. There will be some mega scans of anchor water, different areas. So a lot of pieces are available in the marketplace, and we need not build everything from scratch. So we can utilize them and and build whatever you want actually. It's a smart way of working actually. The asset building process itself, is very effective, and the life cycle is very fast. And we can see, so that will create more interest. Actually, previously I was very scared of doing something I always am a real action guy actually. I always want to set and shoot anything actually. I don't prefer to VFX because I don't know, so a lot of process and lot of time is there actually. Now I'm more and more excited towards this world, because one thing is the asset creation. The life cycle of asset creation is very fast. Okay, and we have build high quality assets because we can leverage lot of people's capabilities in the marketplace. For example, there will be somebody in the Philippines who is very good at texturing actually. If I can replace their work, their pieces of some work, which I can buy in the marketplace. Okay, and one more advantage for this one is there is something called real-time engine. There is something called real-time. So what we see we get, because the compositing happens in the real time. So that is a tremendous advantage of having a real-time engine. And remote and multiple collaboration actually. So people Unreal Engine, a lot of people can work on the same set in a different places. There is something like a versioning tool, so where we can properly archive and collaborate on the projects. And the most of things follow the real-time physics. real-time physics is a very, very important term, like, so following the camera movements effectively and, following, for example, I use the term called interactive set. For example, if you have a master shot, there will be 4 to 5 characters in the shot. So the Unreal Engine remembers the whole dimensions, and when we make inserts, when we shoot the inserts, we do not bother about what is there behind the character, because it is like, it's an interactive set. It will be already remembered. So that's a great advantage. And there is a concept of distributed rendering. Actually, we can render it by pieces, like, we can select the meshes and real world camera movement, asset tracking and development, avoiding budget creep. So generally, what happens is, if people start shooting without building the sets, so while building the sets, the quote might be very big. That's why, like, most of the projects will be, the budgets will be creeping up. But when you use virtual production, Unreal Engine, right? You know what we already have in the hand, actually. So we don't have. We know what's, for example, for my project, I already built the sets. All I need to do is to hire the technology, to hire the proper technicians and do the shoot and get the output and do some little bit of post-production and release. Actually, at least I know what my world is and how much I'm going to invest on my world. Okay. So the project life cycle is like a little bit different, actually, because, I heard about, like, one of the big directors always says 90% of the filmmaking is done on paper. Now 90% of filmmaking is done on the computer and 10% is the actual shoot. So in the project life cycle, so previous tech whiz will be like, the most important part, and later on, we will be building the sets and the cameraman will be lighting the sets even before the shoot, And a lot of work happens on the computer. So, and even art direction, actually. So the art direction for virtual production setup is very tricky, actually. So the thing is, because see, it's always the biggest challenge about virtual production is it's like the LED like wall or everything will be like displayed. It's a 2D, right? So we will have that. We need to create perspective using art direction, actually. So people will be like putting some different. For example, we created, because it's a small shoot. What we shot is a very small, and we didn't go into the complex pieces. So we have a platform which looks in the color. We created a platform which looks like the rock, the brownish platform. Okay, so that, like, that will create some illusion, and that's some type of art direction. For example, if I'm shooting the feature film, so I will be like doing some 1 or 2 like pillars, exactly how the virtual set is, and I will try to install them on before, and I will change the ground and create some properties or some fires in real time which will match the real. So that's the part. So art direction has to be trained in a different way, actually. It's about smart thing. It's not like a lot of hard work and building and construction and carpentry, but it's like smart. Like, people need to understand how that looks really and what will be like, the properties before the foreground, which will enhance the whole user experience, actually. Virtual, there is something called like virtual art director, actually. The position is a new position will be like created by the virtual production. So virtual art director means like while building the sets. So I have a requirement, the director's requirement will be like, I want something like in a temple architecture of 900 AD. Okay, something like Angkor Wat temple, the architecture, when we give the statement like I want a time period and this type of requirement. So the visual architect, the virtual art director has to understand, and he has to build the sets accordingly. So what type of torches are used in those times, and how has to be the lighting has to be there. And everything has like, some sort of virtual art direction has to happen even before the shoot. And the stunts, actually, stunt is very, very important. So, but there are some limitations. It may be like, the things happen little different in virtual production. So even the stunt coordinator has to try run with the director and DOP to achieve things happen. And the grip also, like, when we use Jimmy Hip or Trinity or Steadicam, so we need to understand the limitations of virtual production depending on the pitch of the wall. For example, if we're using 2.9 pitch, we cannot go 3 feet beyond the LED wall.
I have a couple of questions from the audience. One is saying that when can we see your movie in theaters? We are eagerly waiting. First
Yeah, very quickly. We just have to attach some actors and because we already built the sets and we want to just shoot it.
We have one more question.
Okay.
It says, Dave, big fan of yours. What is the difference between quality of Hollywood and Indian movies? Is it more investments in VFX in pre and post production?
Yeah. So the main thing is in every life cycle, even though there will be lot of difference in the storytelling and the extensive work they does in the storytelling and the screenplay. From there, there are a lot of differences. See, the production-wise, if you take Mandalorian, see, they very intelligently leverage the Unreal Engine. Actually, they leverage the virtual production because it's not a Bahubali. Mandalorian is not Bahubali. Actually, it is it has limitations. Actually, it doesn't. So, but they intelligently created a world and able to create a story around it, and they're able to deliver it. Actually. So one advantage for sure they have a tremendous advantage. How that is possible? Because it's Hollywood. Because they need 1,000-1,500 crore rupees, right? So it will be too big for an Indian market. So those problems are already there actually, but still because we have the pan India concept right now, we are also pushing the budgets a little bit. And the work process wise, we have some bottlenecks, where we can get better output for what we are investing.
So you think that we need to invest less in VFX for a pre and post production in India rather than Hollywood? Is that why we have the outsourcing work? Is it why the VFX work is outsourced to India mostly?
No, yeah, because we have because the same thing what happens in regular software, right? So our hourly rate will be Indian rupees when converted. So they don't have too many resources. We have a lot of headcount and we have a lot of talented people who work as patients actually. So these IT and system related works need a lot of patience. So our guys have that, and a lot of engineers and a lot of technical people who are trained and who work with very big discipline are there. So that's why most of the works are outsourced to India. So now the time is utilizing our own skill sets for our projects. Okay. So moving on. Okay. Everything is there. Everything is there. Okay. So this is the beginning of virtual production. This is just a person standing before the LED wall. There is no tracker or any other technology or Unreal Engine is connected. So this is a basic. We started from here, and from there we take it forward. The future of virtual production is we have to have better LED walls, and Unreal has a plugin for compositing called Compositing, and we want more advanced versions of that. And so even the filmmakers has to be propagated and advocated about the technology and the advantages of using the technology, and the producers need to know what we are doing, what is the takeaway from this. Okay. So this is how the monitor looks. The actors prepares. So this is some sort of art direction actually. We are trying to do some art direction. So people think that the Hitler is a foreigner, is a Telugu Hitler. Okay. So this is the proof. but it's all ours actually. This is the DOP. So actually, I didn't get the foreign actors because of the COVID. So we made our own Hitler. So even see the helmet is also like we designed in 3D and we took a print and we molded actually. Everything is done from the scratch. Okay. Robot to, I think see Unreal people are using actually. See somebody asked the robot to use Unreal. There are a lot of Unreal pieces in a lot of movies. It may not be virtual production actually. I think I heard in the recent Telugu movies also like they use Unreal. They're using some virtual production pieces also, bits and parts. Okay, but we have a lot of scope actually. See now Unreal is becoming the integral part of this 3D shoot. So a lot of people are using because of the flexibility and the options they have and the reusability concept which we discussed.
Well, I guess, Mr. Dev, those are the questions we have.
Okay, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Dev, for your inputs, and they're very insightful. And thank you for accepting the invitation to be a part of VFX Summit 2021. We look forward to be a part of the physical event, which is going to be a physical event next year, VFX Summit 2021.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.